It is said that on every Halloween night since 1961 that in the deepest, darkest part of the cornfields, there lay a spell of darkness hidden near a well. Be careful what you wish for, children. This is no ordinary story. This is the story that only nightmares can be seen, but only dreams can be heard. It is the story of how Origami claimed innocent blood and hearts from children to create an empire of everlasting darkness. The ring of power from the hearts creates more creatures, and vicious hell spirals begin to enter the four walls of hell. But just as children everywhere curious as hell enter the maze, they never come out, and the moon shines blood for the evil scarecrow's plan to taunt and humiliate his victims further. The dark clouds brew over Halloween night. It's October 31st, 2002, and the air is dark with thick black skies. It is a quiet night, but darkness looms at every corner of the dark sky. Two children are going out to get some pumpkins from the farm maze on Brooklyn Street. They do their trick-or-treating first, just like any other child. They are thirsty for sweets and treats on Halloween night. Eddie turns to Florence. "This is going to be the best Halloween ever," said Eddie excitedly. "I could not agree more," said Florence. "But what has got you in a good mood?" "Why cannot I be in a good mood then?" "Well, yes, but you are usually miserable if you do not like Halloween. We have been friends for 12 years, and you have never enjoyed Halloween. It is because it is a fresh night, and we are looking at more pumpkins from the fields. Come on, stop looking at me like that. Let us go to that field now where they reckon there is a scary scarecrow. Eddie's name is Origami, and if you look at that point in the sky, it seems like we are in for a night. Well, according to this myth, you are not meant to mention the scarecrow's name in case he appears all startled in the dark, dark rain." "What do you mean we cannot mention his name, Eddie?" "Well, I am only going by what my folks told me. Someone let us go just this once, and I promise you can pick the best pumpkin. I will hold you that Eddie chamber as you say that every year. No, I will seriously give you my share." "Okay then, let us go now before all the good ones get sold out." They laughed jokingly into the night, not realizing what would become a reality this Halloween night. Two children enter the maze, never to return alive, only to die 1,000 deaths. Can you still hear them cry? Black floods amongst the mist as there in the center of the cornfield, there is a scarecrow, a bloodthirsty scarecrow hungry to destroy the crops that lay among the ground. Something wicked will happen as the moon shines down on the field. There are flutters like heartbeats from the birds. The seeds are lonely. They try to break free, but Origami the scarecrow has other plans. He wants to destroy the cornfield and leave whoever crosses paths dead. He has no remorse. Darkness covers the world as two teenagers, Florence and Edward, go to the farm to pick up pumpkins for Halloween. Florence looks over to Edward. Eddie says, "Do you reckon we will bump into the evil scarecrow Origami?" She makes a face and pulls her eyelids so you can see the blood rings around her eyes. "Do not be silly, Florence. There is no such thing as alive scarecrows and evil ones. It is all just a myth." Edward returned with a laugh. "You cannot be serious, Eddie. There has been talking of missing people, especially on Halloween night at midnight. He will come out and strike with his killer motives and high dance moves that will have your head off as fast as you can say pumpkin squash," snarled Florence. "Oh, shut up, Florence. You know I do not believe in dark fairy tales," she replied with an annoyed Eddie. "I am only teasing," said Florence, judging by the impression of a dark shudder from the Eddie. As the two teenagers went through the crossfire and into the cornfield, they looked around for the orange pumpkins only to find a hidden ring, its gold rimmed with a red heart inside. "Whoa, what is this?" an excited Florence said. "Do not touch that," said Eddie. "Why not? It looks shiny and intriguing. Why cannot we touch it?" "I got a better idea. How about we wear it?" An alluring smile from Florence, engaged by a furious Eddie. "If we touch that or wear it, I reckon something bad will happen," Eddie pointed out to the cornfield. "This place gives me chills, and not in an effective way." "I thought you were not superstitious at all, Eddie." "Well, I am not, but this place, I mean, look over there. There are seeds that are black crops that are darkened with fear." Eddie began to shake with fear. "Drop the ring and let us get going." But just as Florence was about to drop the ring, It hit the floor at full speed, and lightning struck across the sky. Thunder smoked the crisp air as the buzz hit force against the hard ground. A dark mist began to move forward across the cornfield. There was an eerie chill that entered the cornfield maze. There is every form where raven birds turn into dark phantoms. As the air grew darker, the moon turned red, blood dribbling out of the sky. All was dark, and all was lost in despair. A frightened Eddie looked at Florence. "Florence, we need to go." But it was too late. If you look close enough, you will find a possessed Florence floating in midair. Ghastly white shimmering light filled the darkness into the night. She was guarded with bloodthirsty demon phantoms and gooey insects that taunted the possessed girl. She looked like a doll, but a fragile burned-out beauty with stripes of fear on her face. There was a mark hidden beyond the beginning of her evilness. Eddie ran, but could not because he was frozen on the spot. "You dare run from me, your friend Florence is in a better place." A shaken Eddie speaks. "Who are you? You have taken my friend. I demand an answer." Eddie grew fearful, but that was nothing as the moon rose tighter against the sky. It burst out into the blood, just like a balloon. The blood from the moon crawled down the vines as it became a creature, a bloodthirsty, half-spectacled, dreary creature, his eyes more significant than any moon, his heart pumping like a vein exploding into the rain. The creature stared at Eddie and the floating corpse of Florence, and the creature moved forward in the misty black fields. Everything went black. That is when the absolute darkness fed on Eddie's frightened face. A blanket of snow touched the field, and Eddie was shaking now uncontrollably. "The more you get scared, the more I come towards you," said a dark voice. The creature and the possessed Florence move again. This time gravity took them forward. "Please spare me and regain my friend's life. You dare challenge me, boy, the boy who does not believe in me." Just then, the darkness grew, and out of the black smoke came the evil scarecrow. His roots grew from the stacks of hay, his teeth like fangs, his eyes black as snow, and his hat rimmed with red. "You, my boy, are mine. Do you hear me? I will not free your friend. She is under my command, and soon you will be too. There is no way out. No one can save you. Now, do not go looking outside for help, for there are only my silent bats and ravens. They will feed on your corpse. Once I have your blood and heart in this." He lifted a glass with the ring inside. "You see that ring? It is the heart of a child, and that is Florence, and you are the next. Do you hear me?" "No," screeched Eddie. Eddie ran as fast as he could to the end of the maze, but there were traps everywhere. Darkness sprawled the area. The traps were inconsistent. The first trap was a challenge. In fact, they were all challenges sent to test Eddie. His life depended on it. "Why do they always run?" thought Origami. "Boy, I like you, so I might let you live or die. I have not decided yet. But first, let us play a game, a dark game. I will DD0 anything. Please spare me." "Fine, you will have 10 minutes to get out of this trap." A net fell from the sky. It was no ordinary net. It had thorns as sharp as swords. If you escaped, you would go on to the next challenge. There were 10 in total. However, you will die if you do not complete the challenges by the end of the 10 minutes and by the last moonshine. And if the swords decide to kill you and you cannot escape your fate, my boy. "Okay, I will do anything, just let me live. I did not even want to come to pick stupid pumpkins in the first place," he said silently enough so Origami could not hear. But he did hear because he hears everything. "You dare insult my babies, my beautiful pumpkin patches. Well, rise, pumpkin kings, let us throw in an extra challenge." The snarl on Origami grew bigger. "You will die, my friend, and my boy." "But how did you hear that?" a whimpering Eddie said. "My boy, have you not learned anything? I hear everything. By the time the moon fades, I will have your heart and blood drained from your body, then your soul will rot and be possessed like Florence here. There is no escaping your fate." "This is just a nightmare," thought Eddie. "Oh, Eddie, I can read minds. This is no nightmare. This is real." Just then, the pumpkins raised from their patches. They entered the maze of darkness. The air grew black with smoke. The thick fog was guarding Eddie, and a flock of pumpkins swarmed like insects on a data mining to its prey. Eddie. 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 Eddie, the pumpkins spat. The 4 pumpkins were black with orange patches. Their eyes were like swords. Fish, their mouths were carved with poisonous red blood like apples. Not, please do not hurt me, da. Eddie, we want to play. We will set you free if you obey our master of the darkness of evil of night. Please press play. Riddle Eddie thought he could survive this when he was not good at fast thinking. Oh, what would he do? Florence was the brilliant one when it came to that. Oh, how he missed her. He tried to release himself from the net, but the swords were growing towards him, a scratch from the hand of the demon pumpkins. Ouch, that hurt, da. Oh, why are children such babies, thought Origami, rolling his soulless sleeves up. The dark air grew further along the night. Florence, my dear, it seems that your friend Eddie here is missing you. Can you help him get out of this mess? Of course, master, she spoke in a terrified manner. The corpse grew tired and floated like an angel with snow on its legs toward her friend Whirlpool. Florence, I know you are in there. Please wake up, we need to get out of here, possessed or not you. There is a freaky Origami. Please wake up, da. Tears plastered the face of the Eddie. No, Eddie, we must stay. We must enjoy the show. The show, what show? A frightened Eddie grew impatient. The show where we cut out your heart and feed it to the moon and then drain your soul into my corpse-like body. Attached we can be together forever. In this place, in this maze of darkness, what do you say, Eddie? Please no, wake up, wakes up, wake up. He began to shake a paralyzed floating ghost figure that was Florence. What do you think you are doing? Eddie shouted Florence, but just as Florence began to talk, a trail of spiders came out her mouth. A shaken Eddie let go of Florence in a hurry. Why are you letting go, Eddie, and why are you in such a rush? Just then, something sharp bladed inside of Eddie, a knife to free himself and to escape the claws of Origami. But how could he escape when that scarecrow sees everything? Can he read thoughts? He's reading mine right now. I got to distract him, thought Eddie. Eddie then looked up and saw another figure. He thought, oh great, another freak came to the show to glance at him while he gasped for air and took his last breath from his fragile body. The voice of a figure moved him a little. It sounded so peaceful, like an alluring voice. It did not sound frightening. It sounded like home. It sounded like an angel, just as if Eddie had said. It unexpectedly popped an angelical angel. Her face was guarded with light, her shiny armor protected by night. Are you my fairy godmother? Said Eddie. Something like that, SSH. We are not letting Origami hear him. Her's all you see. I know, but how come he cannot hear us now? I thought that was obvious. I felt it was an Emmanuel. Damn this instruction book to free you from evil. A confused Eddie looked at the enchanted angel. Do not worry, Eddie, I will get you out of here. You see, Origami is under a trance, but my power can only hold it for a little while, so in 5 minutes, you are going to have to run for your life. Can you do that for me? Said the angel. But what about my friend? Is she okay? I am afraid my powers are not strong enough to save your friend. What is she dead? I am afraid she is. You must go. Quickly now, as the angel blew her magic towards the net, freeing Eddie from the quick knock. Run. Run. And just like that, the angel faded into the air, and Eddie ran as fast he could to the end. He almost sighed in relief as he found the exit to the maze, but just as he was about to step out from all evil, there was a crackle of laughter entering his brain. His mind was being possessed. You idiot, your mind only wants to be freed by an angel when in fact, that angel was me all along. You cannot escape me, Eddie. I am in your dreams. I am everywhere you go. You mean it was a trick? There is no angel. Oh hell. Am I going to die? An exhausted Eddie tried to scream for help, but it was too late. The air grew darker, and the black fog consumed the night, tackling the Eddie figure. Eddie, surrender death, for it will greet you anyway, and when it does, victory will be mine, and every Halloween, I will take 2 children's life. If I am going to die, I need to know why you are doing this and why you are not letting me die in dignity. Oh yes, always the same agonizing questions. Mind you, I should expect that from someone that does not believe in darkness, spat Origami. Well, you see, my dear child, he said in a crackling dark voice, I need to rule this world. I need to kill to survive, and the only way I can do that is by spilling innocent blood. But what do you hope to gain from it? I mean, have you thought this through? A confused boy, you are not you, and a very punctual one at that, he said. You are not answering my question. At least owe me that. Oh, all right, children are so draining, it's true I need to rule the world, and with your blood, I can create demons increasingly, and soon, this world will be mine. Happy now? Now let me kill you and get it over with. No plea, SE, but the begging was the only cry that was left of Eddie. As Eddie took his final breath, Origami claimed his heart. He broke through his human flesh and took his heart. All mine, he laughed with evil smiles, drained his blood, did what he said he intended to do. He first placed the hearts of the children inside the glass and the blood from the moon, then he created more creatures, more demons, more creepy ghouls and pumpkins-possessed ghost girls and boys, and waited amorously for his next prey. Every Halloween night, he strikes with his lethal traps. So, beware if you are walking alone this night, as Origami is in the shadows waiting to attack. Be careful what you wish for this Halloween night. The trickery begins now, and Origami exists in these mazes of cornfields. He will destroy all crops and you, so be careful. Do you want to come out, his fateful words this Halloween night says? Do you dare enter my maze of hell? You are all mine, you will pay, you bloodthirsty children.